Okay, folks, Babaginator here, back in Long Dark, currently hanging out in Mountain Town. Oh, we're in Milton Basin, actually, is where we're at. We've got, we're on day 45. This challenge will wrap up at day 50, one way or another, just because, well, it's gotten kind of boring, right? We got everything we need. No more challenge. So let's see what else we got out here. Do I have any birch left? I do have one birch left. We don't have any stems left though. Yeah, I swear we should have some. No? Wait an hour for the wind to die down.
All I can think about is food.
"46 days. 4 days left, so we should finish up this stream. Oh.
I could eat a horse. Let's stand a lot because I love horses.
It's a deer. Gonna get some food.
Come on, little fire. Come on. Perfect.
Oh, it's not good. Spooks too easily. Jerked the shot. Pulled it right at the last second. It's not good. Yeah, he's gonna run all over the place. Yeah. There we go. Finally.
Come on, little fire. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Horse.
There's one more wolf somewhere. Figures. Uh-uh. We don't necessarily have to cook the entire deer. We just need to harvest the entire deer. Get all the meat off of it. So, welcome folks to the stream. I'm Babbage&Nader. I stream Long Dark most Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I'm a Canadian streamer based in, I was about to say Saskatchewan, that's where I used to be based. I'm actually based in Vancouver, BC right now.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
But yeah, been playing Long Dark for a long time. It is by far the game I have the most hours in. Okay, I've got to find some more firewood.
Did I say I hate being cold? Because I really do.
Okay, probably have enough.
Oh, so cold.
So I've been playing through Chapter 4 of Wintermute, trying to finish up that since I never got around to doing it. And yeah, it's been a good time. Nowhere near as aggravating as, is it Chapter 2? It was one of the chapters with the insane number of scripted Timberwolf attacks. Just got on my nerves. Oh, I now handle the timberwolves a lot better. So I guess it was worth playing through to get a little bit more consistent in my approach. Of course, I will admit, like playing the story mode and having the guns available does make a huge difference. Actually, I probably should boil some water and cook.
Come on, little fire. This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Okay, I'm good for now. Hey, Roller. Yeah, this is our last lazy stream on this one. Then we go back to panic mode, the new challenge. How was your day? What were you up to? I had a pretty productive morning. I figured out what I was doing wrong last night with one of my work projects, and this morning was able to get it up and working properly. Now I just have to, now that we are able to interact with the data broker server again, to get we got some requests filled, and then other ones it was not accepting the request, and so now the request is processing correctly. I'm getting the data. Now I just need to write the code that then extracts what we need and repackages it in a new data frame and then saves it out. So, and then does some analysis as well. So, yeah, feeling better about that. So that's tomorrow morning. I get to do a little bit of that. And what else? Had lunch with one of my old roommates from last year. Yeah, it's been a year. So one of my roommates when I was living on campus is finishing off a master's and starting a PhD in physics. Anyways, we're on the same bus a lot. Well, we're on the same bus occasionally, and so we keep meaning to meet up for lunch. And so we made the plan, went out for hot pot, which was actually perfect for today, except it was a lot of food. And then I made myself a big dinner later on. So I'm suffering from eating too much good food. But tomorrow I'll take it easy. Yeah. Got back. The last few days I started watching, I don't know why I'm on this nostalgia kick, but I started watching Miami Vice, the first season of Miami Vice. And just because I was a kid when it was airing in the 80s, and I didn't really, well, one, I wasn't really supposed to be watching it, two, because I was a little too young, and two, I didn't really appreciate it for what it was. I kind of knew it was kind of stylish and cool and had great music, and that's still true today. You go back and watch those episodes and you think, like, how in the world did they get the rights to use all this great music? But at the time, it was all brand new music, and it just went on to become like iconic for the 80s, you know. Yeah, and then we have all these other, you know, games that kind of built off of it. But yeah, Miami Vice, it's actually really good cinematography. There are some aspects of the show that are a little dated, but at the same time, they're also very 80s, and you just kind of say, yeah, it's nostalgia, I guess, now for us. But it also captured the time, captured the attitudes and perspectives, good and bad, you know. But yeah, I mean, probably the weakest part of the show, you know, with a 21st century lens looking back on it, would probably be that most, at least in the first season, most of the female characters are not very well developed. You know, they are largely in service of the male characters, and that's about it. And so you don't really see them develop. Now, I vaguely remember, like in later seasons, that begins to change a little bit. They get written better with more interesting storylines, but I think it's still an 80s show in that respect. Yeah. They're mostly there just for visual appeal, right? But I think about like all those other shows that were on at the same time that are really kind of ridiculous when you rewatch them now. A few months back, I, out of curiosity and mild nostalgia, decided to watch a few episodes of Hunter, which is so. It's basically they wanted to make a show with a Clint Eastwood character. Is basically what it was, but they couldn't cast Clint Eastwood, so. I've got some over here somewhere too. But yeah, Hunter is just kind of ridiculous. The other thing that's kind of ridiculous in most of these shows is you really get the sense that you really get the sense that they just kind of ran and made these shows without really researching. Like their handling of firearms, for instance, feels kind of sloppy and unprofessional in most situations. It's like they're supposed to be cops, supposed to be law enforcement, so it should be a little bit better about handling their weapons. But sometimes it just feels very sloppy. This is super cold. We're going to wait inside for a little bit. It was definitely more fantasy. It was definitely like playing into men whose boyhood fantasy was to run around and be, play cops and robbers or cowboys and Indians, And they wanted to be a force for justice or whatever it was. But yeah, definitely fantasy. Okay. How are we doing? 46, heading into 47. Okay, this time we're looking for birch bark.
I need to find some place to escape this cold. If I don't warm up soon.
So I've been playing through Wintermute, Chapter 4, and I am almost done. Of like the last little bit where I have to go back to the prison. But first I want to be a completionist and take care of all the side quests, so kind of delaying my departure. Delaying my wrap up. There's one area where you have to escape by going down 2 rope climbs and then later climb up another rope climb, which means that basically you have to jettison a whole bunch of stuff so that you can afford to do the rope climbs. And I was not happy about that. So I saved at the top of the cliff and I was like, okay, let's see if I can goat down. And the funny thing was I actually survived the first goat down. But then I got to the second goat down and I looked at it. It's like, there's no way that's going to work. It's like, that's just going to be death. So I had to abandon the goat down approach and go back to an earlier save and just dump like the rifle and a few other things and get my weight down. Luckily I had whatchamacallit by then. Well fed, so yeah. Yeah, so I will be done with Wintermute probably tomorrow. And then I can debate whether to return to playing Oblivion Remastered as my distraction, or actually do real work. I am supposed to do a lot of reading this week too, and ooh, that was cold. We need to be simultaneously tired. Oh, we need to be tired in order to get a reasonable recovery. Lately, we end up being well fed, or we end up being fed but not tired. So don't get enough sleep.
Jeez, this is cold.
Oh, here you are. Right in the snaz. Sadly, he did not die. We already have too much tea. We just don't really need to boil it, but we don't need to harvest anymore. Got more than enough for 5 days.
Starting to feel numb.
I think another thing I'm going to start getting myself doing in the morning. Usually I have about half an hour or 45 minutes before I need to start my work day. And I think rather than reading manga or watching an anime during that time period, I really should be more productive. And I should force myself to write something. You know, just do a half hour of free writing. Just get back into the habit. Then I need to budget some time to actually send things out again. But yeah.
I can't feel my hands.
That's the deer we took down earlier this stream.
Damn, I'm freezing.
We're just never warm here. I don't know what it is. It's just been thoroughly cold instead of our usual pleasant basin weather. Hey, Rootbeard. Good to see you. This is our last, most likely our last stream on this particular challenge, which isn't a challenge, it's just a little vacation loper before we get back into like difficult challenge loper. So yeah, starting next stream, we are doing matchless. We have to throw away all our matches that we find, and we can only start fires with flares and fire strikers and maglens. So this will probably be a very short run. I mean, I've had runs go like a few days without. I think the longest I've been without fire is probably about like 5 or 6 days. But you have to be in the right region to make that work. Start it by rubbing twigs. I wish they gave us that option. A really ineffective but non-match based solution. Oh, I think we need water. That's our next step. No shots for you. My root beer, you'll appreciate this. I'm talking about watching old shows from the 80s for nostalgia reasons. So I recently started watching the first season of Miami Vice. It's like, and I was like thinking, man, how did they get the rights to all the music? And then I realized, oh, the music was brand new back then. Yeah, I kind of feel like if you have fire starting 5, you should be able to start fire without matches. Okay, so haven't rewatched Greatest American Hero at all. I remember when it aired. I was telling Roller that I had seen several months ago. I was early wave of the nostalgia hit, and I was watching Hunter, the old Hunter TV show. where it's basically the main character plays a Clint Eastwood type of cop. You know, it's always kind of dirty Harry-ish. Almost certainly they wanted to get Clint Eastwood, and Eastwood said no, and so they just made a character that was Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry, and he just kind of regularly, like, just goes over the top and over the off the rails. Like, is ministering of justice, right? So yeah, Hunter was I mean, it was entertaining in terms of how I don't know, it just seems so funny because it was so dated in terms of its representation, so cliche. Everything about the show has become a cliche, become a ridiculous thing. Oh, watch all the Bob and Dougs. I mean, are they on YouTube? Can you find just those Bob and Doug clips? So the running gag in Hunter is that the police chief always assigns him, or the lieutenant, whoever his boss is, always assigns him the worst undercover vehicle in their carpool. And so he's forever having cars that break down in the middle of an important moment, or fail to start, or look absolutely disgusting. And then he always like solves problems with his fists, you know. Yeah. Guess we should make some tea here now. But yeah, other shows from the 80s that were kind of fun at the time, but I have no idea how well they've aged. The Fall Guy, which they recently made into a movie-ish. I feel like the Fall Guy movie is maybe an attempt to modernize that storyline, but That's about the stuntman who's also a private detective. And then I think the best part about Fall Guy, the recent remake, is at the very end of that movie, there is a cameo from the original stars of the Fall Guy TV show, which I thought was really, really kind of a nice nod back to its history. What was the other one? Riptide? Knight Rider. Knight Rider was great. I almost wrote a poem about Knight Rider, about Kit, for my second book. That almost happened, but I didn't get around to finishing the poem. Dukes of Hazzard, Magnum PI, yeah. Chips, yeah. But I think for me, I liked Miami Vice. I liked Riptide. I think my dad liked Magnum PI more than I liked Magnum PI. The A-Team was kind of classic and also terrible, but also classic. MacGyver, yeah, MacGyver, classic. I have no idea what was going on with the remake of it, but the original MacGyver was great. Oh, do you remember another show called Stingray? That one had a classic, I think it was a 57 or 59 Stingray in it. The Saint has an interesting history that I don't know if most people know about, but the Saint was written by Leslie Charteris, and is basically about like a secret agent who's a man of 1,000 faces, can always change himself into whatever he needs to be. Well, as it turns out, Leslie Charteris was of mixed race. He was part Asian and was indeed someone who was racially ambiguous. And so I can't help but think that for him, writing about the Saint as someone who could constantly shift identities was very much a reflection of his own navigation of identity. Hey, Ox, welcome in. Oh, we've got another raid. Tina Bug, welcome in, folks. Welcome in, Tina. Oh, looks like I have to reset my...
He's gonna come for me really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where he went. It's like he's hiding to come after me. Oh my gosh, he's behind me. Wait, how did he get out? There's two. Oh my
Yeah.
Did you
so
see that? I
hold on a
almost got
second. We have to do
completely
this.
ninja'd. Did you see that? I am so glad that I lit that flare. Wow. When Ninja Wolf does whatever a Ninja Wolf does. Whoa, that was not cool. That was
So I had
so
a
not
weird thing
cool.
happen earlier this week
Oh, I'm so glad.
that
Oh, thank you so much, Don.
us run. We're nearing the end of this challenge. We were planning to wrap up on day 50, and we're on like day 47 right now. Let's try this again. Oh, how come it's not doing it?
So thank you. But if she used a dried finger in the arsehole, it would certainly help. What is a dried finger in the arsehole? Like, okay, are you guys just razzing and jazzing now? Because I have in my inventory like these fingers that I don't know what to do with.
Yeah, so I had a weird thing happen. Let's see what.
Fucking good job, baby. Good fucking job.
Example.
Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to get the
Okay,
moose satchel. Fuck, that was a good job. Damn
Yeah, so I
it.
had a weird thing happen earlier this week where
He had to have passed time. He had to have passed time. He just got that bow. And so he had to get the wolves, and then he had to have laid them down and just passed fucking time. That's what he did. I know that's what he did.
And so I filed a complaint
damn
with
it.
Twitch to figure out what was going on. They initially got
Had
back to
to
me and
have,
said, "Oh, it was
because
done
his
for
wolf
PayPal,
pelt's
so
cured
we
before mine."
Can't reverse your charges."
Oh,
Well, should you look into this? And then I did a little bit more poking around.
Oh, I can do three stone caches. I've already two down. I'm already two down.
There are these two purchases of like 500 and 1500 bits. And then immediately, like 1 minute afterwards, there is a massive 2200 bit cheer that goes to another streamer. And when I checked out that streamer's page, I could see it was a relatively new account, that they had like less than 130 followers, and somehow had gotten 62,000 or 69,000 bits cheered in like a short amount of time. And yeah, so with that information and screenshotted, I sent that back to Twitch and said, "Hey, look, at this point, just reimburse me, like just revert the bits back to my account, and I'll just I'll change my password and sign out from all other accounts and then reset it up." So, well, not reset it up, but basically force anyone that's somehow figured out a backdoor into the account has been booted out. But I had like two-factor authorization on the account, so I can't figure out how they did it. Like, how did they get into my account? Two-factor authorization, both on PayPal and on Twitch. How did they force my account to purchase bits and then spend them on someone else? No, I have no idea how that happened. So, highly suspicious, and so I sent that off to a second report to Twitch, and they acted on it right away. They didn't tell me the outcome. As far as I know, last I checked, the streamer is still active. But I think there should be an investigation. It's like, that's, I don't know what hack he's using, but that's, if Twitch has a backdoor, that's pretty bad. Yeah, and it was like 0% connection to our community, like no overlap whatsoever. So, 47, so 3 more days, and then we're done with this boring challenge, and we can go on to the ridiculous challenge. Yeah, so rather than let that be the introduction to me, this is a bit of an introduction to me. I'm a writer. I'm the author of 2 books of poetry. I'm also a former computer games programmer, and I'm currently wrapping up my second master's. I'm doing a master's in library and information science to become an academic librarian. And I have a PhD in English literature and creative writing, where I wrote a dissertation about 19th century artificial intelligence. And as you can see from that other sort of message in chat. I'm also like a big D&D nerd and love talking about the intersection between creative writing and role-playing games and DMing. So oh yeah, no worries, Tina Bug. Yeah, get your rest in. Thanks for dropping in, and thanks for bringing the crowd over. Much appreciated. Hey, I mean, we have great conversations on this channel talking about almost everything and anything. So if you have any questions about literature, or about poetry, or you have questions about computer games, or D&D, or world building and fantasy novels, or 19th century robots and artificial intelligence. We also read poetry. I take requests. So I'll read other people's poetry and I'll read my own poetry. Sometimes people even get me to read from my dissertation. You know what? Maybe we'll go down here and take some pot shots at these harmless little bunnies. We got enough food to get us through the last 3 days, but we are also... I don't know if we'll get cooking 5 by the time we're done with this challenge. Yeah. Yeah, there are also like funny, weird conversations that happen here. Yeah, if you can figure out how to get me to go off on a rant about something really obscure and amusing, I don't know. Or sometimes I'll demo like parts of games that I've written or I'm working on, or you'll get me to talk about my poetry. You know what? Okay, so the funny thing about this challenge, this run, is that by day 7, we had over 100 matches on an interloper run. It's wild. Ah! Too jerky, too jerky. Trying to hold that too long.
Too cold.
There we go. So we killed all the wolves in the area now, so we can just happily go around shooting bunnies. I still need to go back and do more of that solo RPG thing. I spent so long in the first session just doing setup, which was, I mean, basically learning how to do the setup for that particular system. And a little bit of world building and character building, but yeah, I really should do something else. But I also want to go back and spend more time with my Twine game, my interactive fiction game. Yeah. And I also want to do, this will probably happen off stream, but I need to do a rewrite of my crab fight game and turn it into a card game. And then I want to do some demo plays or run some example plays, maybe online sometime. I think once I have the game plays tested with my local gaming group, get most of the kinks worked out, then I might try to release it as a product. Okay, we've already been up here. I already checked everything out here. There's nothing new. Okay, we already got the maple. Just curious to see if there's anything else we can do. So I was mentioning before the raid, I was mentioning the fact that I, because I am terribly behind things, just in the process of finishing Wintermute chapter 4. Because I put it off forever. I like got 3 done, and then I was like, let me just get back to survival. And so yeah, so I'm almost done. Finally almost done. So started earlier this week, and I guess I started on the weekend, and it's kind of interesting. I really don't love Blackrock, but I will admit playing through the story mode did make Blackrock a little more accessible. Oh, we got already, so we got some crappy blam, bam, blam. Go away, scammer. Okay. But yeah, so I like making like interesting challenges for people. So let's see, probably the most famous one I've done is something called Roll With It. And so you can see the Roll With It challenge. It has additional instructions on the Google Docs page. But yeah, that one's a fun one. It took me like 30 attempts to finally beat that. But yeah, you have to visit every single region in the game. And the amount of time you stay in each region is dependent on the roll. You roll a die when you enter the region, so you don't know how long you're going to be there. And the size of the die increases over time, so that you can eventually be rolling like 1d20, so up to 20 days in a major region and up to 10 days in a transition zone or micro region. So Basin here would be considered a micro region, but so is Crumbling Highway. And Crumbling Highway doesn't have a lot of resources. It's better now that you can scavenge like beachcomb. But there was a while when there was no beachcombing there, and so it was like, a couple carcasses and some wolves. That's about it. I spy with my little eye more bunnies. It's gonna be hard to get. Yeah. Yep, missed him. Yeah, hunting rabbits on the hill is not a fun thing. It's usually a bad angle. But yeah, it took us 303 days, and our last region was Blackrock. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we should switch over to the stone. This is the easier way to hunt rabbits. It's just no fun. Yeah, unless you miss, then it's like more sporting like, right? Threw away the rock. Now it's gone. Gone for good. Oh. This was where Wolf died. Hello, Mr. Wolf. We're cold again. How's missing supposed to make it fun? I don't know. The rabbit doesn't bring back the stone. I mean, doesn't play fetch.
Oh, lucky day.
Mm. Oh, that's right, we got this guy too. He's portable. We'll deal with him later. This guy's not portable. The ptarmigan are too dumb to be the roadrunner. I'll say that. Hunting the ptarmigan with a bow is kind of entertaining. I mean, it's kind of silly when they go poof. Which in-game is fine, but I don't think I could stomach it in real life. Much like the bird go poof. You never work as a butcher? Yeah. Same. And the closest I had to do with that was my mother once got a great deal on a large piece of, what was it? Beef. Anyways, it was a type of cut that normally the butcher would then cut into many other cuts. And so it was being sold as an entire piece, which then meant I had to figure out how to cut the thing up into meaningful like slices. Yeah, it was bulk bargain, probably a Costco thing. Anyways, I will say some of my steaks were better than other steaks in terms of the cuts. It's definitely a skill. Mistakes. Mistakes. Yeah, exactly. Mistakes. Mistakes were made. Oh yes, in other news, you can occasionally get me to make random cat noises. That is a thing. Some things have been pre-recorded, just to save my own voice, so I'm not constantly doing cat noises, or bothering my roommate. Okay. How many roommates left? I just have one roommate. I'm in a 2-bedroom place right now. So I have a roommate that is doing their PhD in chemistry and usually is out late. Well, out early and out late for lab stuff. I asked a friend of mine who is also in the chemistry program if it's my imagination that it feels like a little bit of a cult, and he said, no, it's not your imagination, it is a cult. But yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I like the place where I'm living right now, so I think I'm going to probably stay. My roommate is considering moving out to be closer to campus and also trying out living on their own, which they haven't done before. So I kind of think it's a good experience to have, but it's also really, really tough rental market in Vancouver. So we'll see if it's possible. Okay. No longer freezing. Why are we so cold? Oh, it's because we still have a crappy outfit. Well, this is not bad. This is okay. This is okay. But we still have crappy jeans. We still don't have a second decent coat. Yeah, this is why we're suffering. We never got like key clothing components to like a Mackinac or something awesome like that. Would have been great. Did we pick up all? I figured birch bark would replenish, but I have not seen new birch bark in a while. Well, actually, maybe birch bark. No, birch bark does replenish. At least it's supposed to. Yeah, we don't have to keep killing all the bunnies today. Save some for tomorrow. Cam move to the... Oh, I don't know. What's going on with this? I bumped the screen. No, chair moved. That's what happened. I rotated. Oddly seated. Yes, that's me. Oddly seated. Well, we got all this meat. Yeah, I also noticed my chair over time just automatically starts lowering. So sometimes I'm streaming and start off and I'm like, why am I like sitting so low? Like, oh, the chair just lowered itself. Okay, I'll just pop in here. Just dump all these here. Mimic chair. You know, it's been a long time since I used a mimic in a campaign. May have to happen at some point. It moves towards the fridge. Yeah, that's a possibility too. Let's see. Do. I can tell my roommate's in a good mood. They're listening to music and humming and singing along. Oh. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else I can report on. I really want to get back into working on my interactive fiction game. It's a game called Into the Dark Woods, and basically is a game in which you wake up in the middle of the woods. Little recollection of your circumstances, but it is dusk and you need to find shelter. And so you set out initially doing that, but along the way you end up with, so the main goal is to survive the night, but along the way you also might come across other things that create new quests or challenges. And it's choice driven, but there are aspects of it that feel a little bit more like, I don't know, there's lots of Easter eggs, there's lots of twists and turns. See, what do we got left? 1.4. What kind of firewood do we have? One piece of coal. Yeah, there's even some secrets. So yeah, I think my goal is to carve out some time in the next few weeks. Try to get some work done on that. Maybe on one of the nights when I'm not streaming, I'll do that work. And then we'll do maybe a couple playthroughs again. Yeah, more testing. Probably more testing coming. But I feel like I haven't done any substantial work on it recently, so there's not a whole lot to show off. I'm gathering all these feathers, but I'm not actually going to get myself back any place where I'm going to be able to craft more arrows. Well, I guess I can make the... Oops. Classic blender where I kick my own cord out. Yay. Okay. I guess what I was going to make... We need more sticks. I didn't plan this well. I was like going to make some arrows and then realized I didn't leave enough sticks to make arrows. Oh well. Try this again somewhere else. Okay, let's see where we're at now. 48. We are so close to being done with this thing. I mean, what we could do is we could dump almost everything and then do a quick run up to Milton. I'm going to do some rain around to see if I can get more exhausted so that we can get a full recovery overnight. If you sleep when you're super exhausted, you are going to have a better recovery than when you sleep when you're mostly rested and you don't actually sleep. I want to start something new next time. We've still got a half an hour at least on this tonight's stream. At least half an hour. Push, push, push. Anything else we want in here? Yeah. I think the weirdest thing about this particular visit to Milton Basin is how empty it's been. Normally there's like 3 or 4 deer and, you know, 2 wolves, 3 or 4 deer, and rabbits. This time we had like, I think 2 or 3 wolves, lots of rabbits, 1 deer. 1 deer. That's it. You know, a few carcasses here and there, but like the actual deer. She finds a weird scroll in the bunker, wakes up in a prison cell. And then she goes to sleep and wakes up in the back of a wagon. You awake? You're finally awake. Yeah. Is someone there?
It's dusk, so I can't be far behind.
Okay, let's see what we can tear down here. Yeah, we're not going to find a camera. Let's just accept that. No, perfect. We got well fed. I was just thinking things would get easier if we had well fed. So. Okay. Don't need the lantern. Rabbit hat, I can make rabbit mitts, right? 1, 2, 3. What does it take to make the rabbit mitts? 4. I need 4. Not there yet.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Well, maybe we can't do them then. Or we take it with us. But it's not going to be cured in time for us to do anything. In that case, not needed. Flying horses. Sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. Okay, here we go. We are, I believe, on 48, 49. We have our bedroll with us. I think we're just going to do some fun pop-up. No, it's going to turn into a blizzard. This will be fun. Should we wait it out or should we go? We probably should have warmed up our teas first. Either way, it's going to end, right?
Come on, little fire. Cold. Perfect.
No, this is the right way. And there we go. The little birch bark showed up.
up somehow.
Taking all our stuff with us. Good. Okay. Take advantage of the cave. Just rest here for a little bit.
Wait. It was so cold. I'm warming up a bit.
Is it better? No, it's not better. Still kind of gusty, but okay. All right, here we go. Like there's a wolf around here for anybody. There you are.
Did I say I hate being cold? Because I really do.
It's gonna come back. And it's gonna be a bad angle again.
Oh, so cold.
Chickened out too quickly. Oh well. Now we just have to find the key. Then we can get in. Since we're coming down on this side, let's check out the truck first. Okay, let's try the barn. Or the shed, whatever this thing is. Oh, there's this guy. Key acquired. That is definitely the cougar. Why are we in cougar territory?
I think I can use this.
We already have a mag lens. We don't need to.
Wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Okay.
Come on, Loping. Come on.
How are we doing? 49. So we are almost done. That's twice tonight I've disconnected myself. That's annoying.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Okay, let's
Feels like night is coming.
oh, that's definitely a problem. Oh my. We can go to the gas station.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap this up soon. We are almost at our 50-day mark. Okay. It's cold. It's super cold. That's gonna be a blizzard. We're officially at day 50. Okay. So we are done. But I think we might take ourselves over to gas station to wrap up.
Wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
I guess the alternate would be to climb down back into the basin. But this makes more fun going someplace new. Okay, so we're gonna march up here.
Sure getting cold.
Mouse is a little twitchy right now. It's probably me.
It's so cold. I just want to lay down for a bit.
Yeah, we're good. We don't have to do it.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Another hacksaw. Yeah, so our next challenge that will start on Thursday is going to be matchless. And it's basically an interloper run in which we throw away all our matches. And we can only light fires with flares, mag lens, or fire striker. So for the most part, we will only be lighting fires with flares. And we'll see how far we get. Now, part of this is inspired by a few runs where I've had like terrible starts and had to go like 7 or 8 days without matches. And it made me wonder, I wonder how long I could go not relying on matches. And the real challenge is, of course, that you need to be able to boil water. You don't have a steady water supply, then you will probably end up taking too much damage from dehydration and then eventually just succumbing to that instead. More porridge. Okay. We'll start the fire and then we will count this as a done run. I think it's pretty safe to say we did a pretty decent job. We were pretty much fully equipped, but we could use better pants. We could use a better coat here. Could have made the rabbit mittens. We could have made another insulation patch there. In terms of gear, we did eventually find our bedroll. We do have a pot and a pan. We have all the tools, hacksaw, hatchet, knife, pry bar, the nice toolbox. We have 3 bows, which is kind of my thing. I'd like to have a rotation so that it slows down the wear and tear. We were only able to keep 9 arrows in the end, but we have another 8 that could be made, 7 or 8 that could be made. So potential for having 15. Yeah, we were able to make a travois as well. So all in all, pretty decent run. Yay. Okay, so we will mark the end of this run like this. Day 50. Completed. Okay, so we are going to finish off then with a couple poems, I think. So I mentioned this last time. I went to a poetry reading, a book launch for a friend of a friend's poetry book. And this is it, Elegy for Elegy, by Natalie Lim, Canadian poet. And she is, as it turns out, a D&D player as well, and even wrote a poem about D&D. So I thought, okay, well, that seems like a good candidate to read on stream. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons, forever ago. Anne's character slips off a ledge and drowns in the ocean. My character delivers a funeral speech so moving I get inspiration for it. Grief is a plot device, character development, everyone I love, still now, still here. Only gone for the time it takes to fill out a new sheet. We argue, but it's all for fun, just for fun. Our friends are in danger, but we have a plan. The bad guy is someone we can see, touch, defeat with swords, cunning, and a well-placed fireball. No matter how dark things get, the heroes win in the end. We'll be all right. Take a chance, roll the dice. The number doesn't matter. Whatever the outcome, you're safe in the house, at the table, at the funeral, the cliff's edge, looking out on a world made just for you. Okay, so it's kind of I would say it's kind of a love poem for D&D and for role-playing game groups, and it's kind of nice. Okay, so we'll also read something, We'll also read something of my own. And let's pull out, we'll see what the random poem chooser tells us, and we'll see if we ignore it. It's not winter anymore. Do something else. Ooh, we could do that. It's been a while since we read that one. Okay, so this is from my first book of poetry, The Lost Country of Sight, winner of the Philip Levine Prize, published by Anhinga Press in 2008. And this is a poem entitled What I Know About Abstraction. The moon is made of hammered tin, and tonight sorrow must be the bone-gray sparrow I found lying in the fields east of the freeway, one wing broken, one eye the color of rusted steel, and by it eager for flight, a white paper cup wrestling with the evening wind. Down at the water's edge, I know nothing of the two men rowing. All night they skirt the shore, the bridge, the abandoned docks, the same shadows returning, till I think they are twins in their dark raincoats, their eyes a blur. One pulls an antique bottle from his sleeve, which might be hope, and throws it as far as he can into the deep, then lies back and sighs as if to say, "There's nothing more that can be offered to the world tonight." Will it float? Will it sink? Who knows? Tomorrow I might see it grace the gravel beach, shattered by the waves, or whole. Something inevitably returns with the tide. Something like the cup, now flying in the wind, a white glow in the dark, which could be truth, or any star before it fades behind clouds, or is lost beyond a stand of sycamores, where love is no doubt digging ditches row after row, building a cemetery at the edge of the world. I am certain of this, leaning against the rail on a hill that oversees this town, where memory might be last year's bicycle painted red, the tires losing air with each turn, and the girl on the corner in the borrowed dress is sleep, the one the last drunk will carry home in his arms before dawn. Yeah, so what I know about abstraction came about because I was teaching an intro to creative writing class as part of my MFA in creative writing. And I was preparing a lesson to talk about the importance of detail and the importance of specificity, and why sometimes when we write about big abstract ideas, we have a tendency to just we call them out by name, and they stay abstract, and they're hard for people to really grasp because they don't really know what you mean. They just know this big, vague term that you're throwing out there. And so I was kind of writing about like how you should avoid abstraction. And then having written all this, I thought, well, it's the natural inclination of a writer to immediately want to resist anytime someone says, you can't do this. So as I was finishing my handout, I was like thinking, but what happens if you do? What if you do write about abstraction, but you find a way to make it concrete and detailed and try to give it sort of a larger narrative where all the different, they come alive as characters or as things that have personality. And so I tried to imagine them in more specific detail, in ways that, like in larger, stranger metaphors. So like hope becomes like this antique bottle which gets thrown out into the waves, is hope. Does it show up complete and whole on the shore, or does it break into 1,000 pieces? Who knows? Will it float? Will it sink? We don't know. But something returns. So, but yeah, I was really pleased with how that turned out. I was not expecting it to come out like this. It was just such a weird, set of ideas as I was like resisting abstraction and coming up with concrete things to say about abstract ideas. But yeah, okay, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I'm going to wrap up for the evening. We're going to raid someone else. We're going to take those of you who came in from Tina's raid. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you like what we do, and it's been a little bit chill tonight, so sometimes we have a lot more lively conversation, or I'm kind of doing some show and tell stuff. But yeah, let's see. I would say, yeah, if you want to check out more poetry, feel free to visit the website. Otherwise, we're going to check and see who is available tonight for raiding. And we'll bring the party over there. Okay, so let's see. I am looking ahead here. And I see Games and Cookies, Nemesis Darling, Deadpool. Let's go visit Nemesis. We'll hop over to Nemesis. Nemesis often raids us. Let's go raid Nemesis. Okay, so come check out Nemesis Darling, another TLD streamer doing Wolf Wrangler. And come back on Thursday and see me start a brand new challenge without matches. It will be matchless. Okay. Thank you all. We'll see you all